Happy holidays!
Happy holiday.
Happy
So
holidays!
we are back at the Beyond Reps and Sets podcast.
Yes.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hope you guys are having a great festive time with family. Lots of good foods.
Yeah,
Uh,
the time of this recording is roughly a week away
week away.
from Christmas Day,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so today what we have for you is an open discussion where we start off with a blind ranking game again. Uh, we did enjoy that the last couple times we did it. And then we get into the main topic, and the main topic is how you can prevent regression or continue progress throughout the holiday season with all the social gatherings and the good food and potentially the alcohol.
Yep.
Yeah, we have
Let's
some.
let's cut the potentially. You guys, we're getting lit this holiday season. You know what I mean? It's been a long year. People are gonna cut loose, and people want to know how are they gonna keep on track with all their goals. So we're gonna give it
Yes.
to you raw, uncut.
And if we have time afterwards, we can also talk about how we could possibly set a proper New Year's resolution.
Yes, because we know how difficult that is. If you've ever set a resolution, let's put on paper. If we're to do a numbers game, how much of those are you really checking off at the end of the year?
Right. Yeah. So we'll probably get into that.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
definitely jump into that. So, sir, I've got a couple blind rankings for you that I want to throw at you today. Okay,
Okay.
pertaining to training, and then we'll also do another
Mhm.
one pertaining to the holidays. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So, blind rankings. All right. Just in case you were unfamiliar, I'm gonna give my lovely co-host here a randomized selection of workout splits today.
Workout splits. Okay.
Um, and then it is gonna be up to you to distinguish which one of those and in what order you want to rank them without knowing what the next one is going to be.
All right.
Okay. All right. It's very self explanatory. You guys will see as we go through. First one, a tried and true, a real staple in the fitness community, the bro split.
Ooh, the bro
The
split.
bro split.
We all know the bro split.
Yes.
We've all done it.
Yeah. So for people that don't know, bro split is predominantly a lot of arm and upper body focus, limited amount of focus towards the legs. So if we're looking at a Monday to Friday split, we're looking at chest, back the next day on Tuesday, a leg day on the Wednesday, and then we're hitting chest again, and then some arm work, bicep, tricep, antagonist, agonist muscles.
So the bro split that I remember was always chest on Monday, back on Tuesday,
Always start with chest, eh?
always chest. And I'll tell you why that's a problem.
Yeah.
Wednesday is leg day. Okay. Only one day for legs,
Yeah.
right? Thursday is shoulders, a
Yes.
whole day for shoulders.
Yeah.
And then Friday is arms.
Yeah.
Yes. A whole whopping hour and a half dedicated to the arms, the
Yeah.
guns, right?
And then you're probably hitting chest again on Saturday. Let's
Yes.
keep it a stack.
Okay,
Let's
so
keep it
I'm going
real.
to tell you where I rank that
Yeah.
now at my training age.
Hmm.
I would probably put that at around either 4 or 5.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it at 4.
Let's because we're gonna circle back to why Adam has chosen to
Yep,
put the
number 4.
splits where he has. Okay. So keep that in mind. Play at home. Also, play at home. This is a great opportunity for you listening in the car, at home. Think about where you would rank these, especially if you've been in the gym for a little bit. Okay. We got push pull legs. You
Ooh,
know, another solid program here. Good go to. So it's exactly like how it's described. You can kind of rearrange, but it's usually done in this order. So you're gonna start with Monday push, a pushing movement. So usually a chest exercise, bench, push ups, anything where you're pressing away from the body could be done on machine or otherwise. Dumbbells as well. And you have a pulling motion, so something that's going to be hitting your back. So we're looking at barbell rows, we're looking at lat pull downs, bent over rows, dumbbell or otherwise. And then we got legs. So you're looking at your squats, your leg press, hack squats, and then we're just repeating that for the next 3 days. So that should take you for a 6-day split.
I'm gonna put that one at number 3.
I would agree. It's a real solid, just middle of the road. Okay. Let's switch it up. Let's go circuit training.
Ooh, circuit
Circuit
training.
training. Everybody loves a little circle
Get
90.
that heart rate up.
Yeah, that aerobic. 1, 2, if you want.
So
Do that way.
circuits are basically multiple exercises strung together without much rest.
Yes.
I mean,
So
it could be altered in different ways
you can
to add
modify
a
the
little bit
intensity.
rest.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't mind circuits if you don't have a lot of time. We'll discuss this afterwards.
Yeah. We'll do the
Okay.
pros and cons of each of these
I'm gonna
after.
put this at number 5.
Number 5. Okay. Guys at home, did you also put that number 5? You might have had it a little higher. Okay. We're gonna go to upper and lower. Upper and lower.
So upper
S-
one day,
Lower the
lower next
other.
day, maybe take a break and then do
Rest
upper and
day.
lower again.
Yes, sir. So that will take you
Mhm.
through 5. So 4 training active days and then a rest day in between.
Okay, I'm gonna have to put that at number 2 because I already picked 3, 4, and 5.
Okay.
So I'm
Yes.
gonna put that at number 2. And
Okay.
I actually really like that split as well.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. All
Okay.
right.
Yeah, yeah. Being kind to Adam today. Sometimes the rankings are a little misleading, but I
Yeah.
think I think you're doing well. And last one, um, full body. So full body splits. The way I'm gonna describe it is the way I think it's best, and then maybe in the discussion we
Okay.
could talk about
Sure.
another way that people have utilized this, and maybe the not the most optimal way or not advantageous way. Full body, we're going once every other day. So if we're starting on the Monday, we're doing full body. We're expecting a lot of compound movements in there. We're thinking about our tried and true deadlifts, squat variation, thing, whatever works for you, and then a chest movement, pressing movement, and then some core. Um, every day with the rest in between. So Monday would be an active day, full body. Tuesday would be off. Wednesday we'd be back in there, full body day. Thursday would be off, and then Friday. So that'd be
Okay.
a nice little 5 day for our work week. Where
So
we
that's
putting
number
that?
1.
That's number
That's
one.
number 1. I'm forced to put it at number 1, but guess
Yes.
what? Full body is actually my favorite.
I love a full body, especially when time is limited elsewhere. And I feel like I'm not going to have time to just work 6 days in the gym, and I
Mhm.
might only be able to really send it for 3 days.
Mhm.
I can know that I'm dialing in my nutrition. Well, we can get into
Okay, so
it.
so I had number 1,
Full
full
body.
body. Okay, number 2, upper lower split.
Yes.
Number
With that
3,
rest day in between, there's a very
right?
particular, yeah.
Number 3, push pull legs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 4 was the
Circuit.
bro split.
You put
The
bro
bro
before?
split, yeah.
And then circuit.
And then
You're right.
circuit
Yes,
on
yes,
number
yes. Circuit
5.
was training class.
And actually, that panned out exactly how I'd want it.
Yeah, that really worked well. You did well with that. I think you're
Yeah.
getting better.
Okay.
I think you're getting better
Yeah, well,
with
I
that.
don't know what you're gonna say,
No,
right?
but then again, I think you also are anticipating things to come as well. You're like, okay, he said these ones already. This one might still on the table. I'm gonna play
Yes,
because you could have even when you went middle of the road with push pull legs. Push pull legs is some people's tried and true.
I know.
Some people that might have put that up a little bit higher. I don't think they're necessarily wrong with that.
I
You know,
made significant gains on a push pull legs workout.
same.
The only problem was for that 6 months that I was running that program. First of
Mhm.
all, it was too long.
Yeah.
Second, I was running a lot. So that affected my gains.
So let's talk about some of the pros and cons real quick, and then we'll get into the holidays real quick.
Okay.
Um, pros and cons. We'll kind of just cycle back and forth. I'll name some pros, and some cons, and then you say if you agree, disagree.
Okay.
Okay. So, some pros and cons to circuit training. We'll start from the bottom up because people might want a little bit. If that's their way to train, they might want to know why he's gonna put this all the way down here. Circuit training pro. Very not as pressing on time. So you're able to compile a lot of different exercises in a short window of time, still feel like you're getting a good sweat, still getting a good workout in, right? Um, so that's a pro. A con could be you're not maybe not giving the necessary stimulus to the muscle that it would need in order to grow, if that's your main goal, is to build muscle. And that's what we do here. That's what our main conversation is around, is in building muscle. So in terms of actually, if your main goal is that, circuit training leaves a lot to be desired, just because you might need rest, like systematically, for your brain, your body to recover fully, to then hit that same weight again. And that's not something you're necessarily going to get from a circuit style of training.
I would agree 100%. And I would say that is probably the only benefit
It's the
is the
time,
time,
yeah, which
right?
is huge, because we know, like, as business folk ourselves, people that run our own respective businesses, time is definitely a big factor.
Now, when I
Family.
say time, it's not how many times of day of week or how many times a week. I would say it's more so the fact that you only have 15 to 20 minutes. Okay. However, I do have a way of programming workouts when you're looking at the whole entire week. If you only have 20 minutes, there is a better way to do it.
Yeah,
If you've got 20 minutes a day,
yeah.
now let's say it's the middle of a vacation and you only have 20 minutes before you have to go to the airport.
Oh, don't give them the sauce. Is that one of the 11?
Not really, but
Okay,
this
okay,
could be one, right?
okay.
So yes, time management. I think that is really good. The negatives, the drawbacks, I would agree with you as well with regards to not activating or not giving the muscle the right stimulus to grow. That's not going to happen. You're also going to end up adapting in the wrong way. So you will eventually, if you continue to do circuit training for too long, you end up actually adapting for aerobics, for endurance.
Cardiovascular.
Yes. So you'll get an endurance adaptation, which then will cause you to lose weight. And when I say lose weight, lose muscle.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's for that. What's the
So
next one you want to discuss?
I would say the next one would be the bro split, for the bros out there.
Okay, so
Why are you coming at my split, bro? You don't even. You're so small. Why are you
I
gonna
just
talk
want
about?
to make a statement, okay?
These guys are so small. Why are they talking about the bro split? These guys don't even lift.
Okay, this is all bro, first of
Yes,
all, right?
yes.
And we love the bros out there because the bros are really they've been the ones
We
to
love the
push.
bros.
They've pushed the culture, right?
Put that on a t-shirt. We love
Yeah.
the bros.
Yeah, we love the bros. Okay, so the bro split, that is like the quintessential bodybuilder split. I think that came about when performance enhancers were really on the rise.
Mhm.
Okay. Because you can work out for 2 hours on one muscle
And really get a good.
and really allow it to recover that. You could even work out a different body part the next day.
Yeah.
The only issue that I have with the bro split, there's a couple things. Okay.
So before we do that, do you want to say some pros that we know of? If you do maybe
Okay.
have
So
that
the
time.
pros, you really hone in on the muscle group that you're training that day.
Mhm.
So you really warm the muscle up pretty good. You warm up the movements, and it's all the same general movement. So you're really training and practicing technique.
If you supposedly.
Right.
Yeah.
So that is basically, I think, the benefit.
Yeah. I would say
Also,
I would say another benefit would be, if you're trying to get a mind muscle connection to a certain muscle group, focusing one day where you're only focusing on chest, as opposed to, like, say, the full body split. You might be able to connect because you have just more time to get that sort of, what does my pec feel like in a contracted position versus a stretched position. And that's just one example. You can do that literally for every single muscle
yeah,
groups. So
there are there are bodybuilders that achieved great success doing a bro split
yeah,
basically their whole career.
I think one thing we got to preface everything. We're having fun. We're ranking these things blind. There are instances, as we will continue to uncover through our conversation, where each of these things can be applied. If you're a beginner, you do anything more active than what you're doing right now with relative progressive overload, you're probably going to see some semblance
I
of
don't
results.
think this is the best program for a beginner, though. I would
But I'm just
steer them
saying
away from it.
that we'll get into that in the
Yeah.
cons. But just prefacing, there are contexts where each of these would would give you some semblance of results in the sense that I feel better, you know, it's the thing that's getting me back in the gym. So just by proxy, awesome. We're just gonna maybe highlight some things to be wary of when doing each of these splits.
Yes.
Yeah.
My issue with the bro split
Mhm.
was that my chest grew so fast
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because Monday was very motivational for me.
Yeah, you couldn't wait to get in there.
Yes.
Everybody's like, "Oh, Monday." You're like hyped up on an espresso, just like, "Let's go."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So the Monday I would get the workout in. Tuesday I'd probably get the workout in. Come Wednesday, leg day. Sometimes. Then what happens when the weekend comes around? It's out the window.
Yeah.
Okay. Then what happens? Monday comes around, chest day again.
Yeah. Super
S-
excited.
So what happens is the volume of work on your chest
Ends up
really
outweighing.
builds. And it might be for the female population, it might be glute day,
Yeah.
right?
Because we all have the propensity to like different movements.
Call that a split. I just think that it's like it's hard to discipline. Like which splits are easy to be disciplined at?
Yes.
Which are
Mm.
easy to build the patterns.
So that's a great statement
Yeah.
by our producer Andre.
Mm.
He's basically touching on the fact that that has nothing to do with the split. It has to do with
The
the
mindset.
individual and
Yeah.
their mindset. And I know though that this problem happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's why I said it, right?
Yeah. And it's
It's
probably
very common.
easier. It's probably easier because we have like there's just different goals. Like, there aren't a lot of women. I'm seeing more women that want upper body, that like love working out upper body. You know what I mean? I know one of them very closely that enjoys that. You know what I mean? And there are a few of them, and they grow every single year. You know, I see more girls in the dumbbell section, and I love seeing that. You know what I mean? But on average, you're probably gonna see more guys loving to do the arms, doing the chest. So if that's in the earlier side of your split, you're probably gonna feed into that. So it's probably like what came first, the chicken or the egg. Like probably guys tend to go towards that split more, and why it's even called the bro split is because of the attention to the upper body in comparison to other, where you're getting a more well-rounded look.
I think there's something psychological that's going on where
100%.
there's an area that you really want to develop for your own good, for your own self, right?
Mm,
So you might want to develop your arms. So you end up really working your arms.
mm.
And then what happens is, should we pause? Okay, so they can't hear the phone, so we're good. Um, yeah, so I think it's something that's psychological that feeds into it. And then eventually, when you work a certain area, it actually becomes more comfortable doing it. And then the areas that you don't work as much, you don't have as much experience training, those areas are actually uncomfortable. So then
Yes.
you combine the fact of it's an area that you don't care so much to develop, and then it's uncomfortable.
Mhm.
You're going to end up not wanting to train it as much. I think that's really what happens.
What a way to that is exactly what happens because I'm telling you from personal experience and then also just client experience, a lot of times you have to get over like, oh, I'm going to be in pain. So they associate certain movements with pain. A lot of
Right.
people deadlift is a movement that a lot of people don't want to do because they're just looking at the position and they're like, oh, that's going to kick in my lower back. When in fact, that movement is the thing that we need to do. One, we do it every single day. Think about it. Every time you bend down to tie your shoelace, anytime you go to pick up your child or pick up anything from a deadpan
Changing
position,
tires.
changing tires. So it's not a matter of um, the movement, it's the mindset that we attach to them,
Right.
and then getting a healthier sort of way of how we look at that, and then having the right sort of process to where we can get comfortable with them. Because once you do it properly, and this is with all movement, all exercises, or let's keep it to like major compound lifts. Once you do all of those movements, not only do you feel stronger, but you're a lot more likely to be psyched up for that day. Um, like I had guys that didn't like training legs before working with me and then loved working it once they couldn't experience low back pain anymore or didn't feel knee pain anymore. So all of the sort of zones that they associated with pain, once they got to move better and understanding the pattern of movement, their whole psychology changed. So I think that was a great point.
Yeah. I think what Andre mentioned is absolutely right. And I think if you were to train the bro split properly and
With the right
with the
mentality.
right mentality and understood what areas that are stronger and weaker, and just put a little more emphasis on and volume on the weaker areas, then you can develop a really sound physique and balanced physique. The issue is when you're starting out, it's probably better to do a full body, have a full body approach. And I'll tell you why right now. Let's go into full body.
I wanted to go to push pull.
Okay,
I want
push
to
pull
leave
legs.
full. I want to leave because it's number one.
Okay,
So I want to
all right.
go in the order that we put it. So we had push pull legs, then upper lower, and then we'll go to full.
Okay.
So push pull. Pros and cons. Agree, disagree. Feel free. Pro, well rounded. It's probably one of the more well rounded programs that we speak around. Bro is also well rounded with maybe a higher emphasis on upper body, especially tapering to the end of the week. Um, which can give us imbalances, which we all know how hard it is to work those other imbalances out. So I say that's a con that we also just structurally there's more work, there's more volume for upper than there is legs, which you don't want. You want a well-rounded physique, which you're gonna get from a push-pull split, which is why I think a lot of people tend to fall in push-pull legs. Um, Con, it's gonna take a little bit of time. You're now in the gym. If you're trying to see results with push pull, you're probably not gonna get the best just from 3 times in the gym. You're probably gonna need 6 times. So you're using push pull to really see some sort of benefit.
Yeah, you're committed at that
And
point.
you're committed. Because what's gonna happen is a lot of people do push pull and then they favor either push, pull, or legs. So there's the opportunity. That's a big con. Because let's say I'm a guy, or say I'm a guy, I'm doing push pull. I might skip out on my pull leg day, do an extra chest day, do another arm day, and now I'm into the bro split again. So you think you're just categorizing your workouts, but if I were to actually watch you in the gym for those 5 days, you're not doing back and you're not doing legs. So there's a higher chance that if you're not committed to the actual split and you're more so going off feel, you're probably gonna go back to the point that Adam made on from a psychological perspective, the things that make you feel the best when you're in the gym, which might not be the thing that you need to be improving on. In the gym, we talked about working out versus training. Training is when you are doing the things that you need to do to improve your overall physique, which means we're also training the things that we might not like.
Another pro for push pull legs is that you have now 6 opportunities, or you have 2 opportunities for each
Great point.
section of your body to alter and vary
Love
exercises,
that.
right?
Different planes of movement,
Right.
different alterations of the same target muscle, but in a different plane.
Exactly.
So hinging, we could do that with a dumbbell, and maybe we're doing a machine the next time I'm hitting it. Because there's less systemic fatigue. I can maybe focus in on maybe a more isolated movement.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So
Okay.
is there any other cons? Let's do some cons. Cons time, I guess, because you're in the gym now
Time is
six
the main con, I would
six
say.
times a week, which for I know for you right now, like even we're doing like 5 days, it's still like something where we have to work towards, just like family.
But you can alter push pull legs to make them shorter as well,
Fair enough.
right? You can do one push, you can do two push movements, and then you can do for one day. Then you can do 2 pull movements the second day. Then you can do 2 leg exercises. So you're only doing 2 exercises,
Yeah.
and you could hit that 3 to 5 sets each exercise, and you're in and out of the gym in 20 minutes. And that's actually a really it's basically there's an art and a science to this.
I was just about to say, I think we should actually in the Facebook community drop some good, like one maybe a little bit more time sensitive and one where your time sensitivity isn't the biggest thing on your priority list for what makes a good workout.
When you know how to do proper programming,
It changes the game.
it changes the game for you
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah. Because it's no longer a thing of I'm not gonna get my workout.
Exactly.
It's completely out the window. It's how am I going to manipulate these variables that I know can affect my progress to fit whatever schedule that I'm in. Because they're like right now is a busier time period for us, so it's a little bit more challenging. Holidays, we're juggling a bunch of different things. Springtime might not be that way, right? But being able to manipulate these different variables, which you just get better with over time, and then also just understanding your own body and how it moves and its own biomechanics. It's the uniqueness that stands there. Um, yeah, programming is definitely a game changer. Okay.
Okay.
Um, any other cons before we?
No, I think we can move on.
Okay. Very well rounded program.
Yeah.
Definitely, I would
As
say.
you can see, as we get higher up into the rankings,
Yeah.
right? We're noticing there are less cons,
Less
right?
cons. Awesome. Um, the next one we got is upper
Upper.
lower.
Yeah.
So upper lower, just rehashing the way we're gonna be breaking it down. And we can get into the cons maybe now. If we're doing it this way, I'd say it's a big pro in the way that you've done it in the past. I haven't done this one in particular. This is probably the only one I don't have personal
Okay.
experience with.
Mhm.
Is a full upper lower is put, but I like the sound of it. Upper body Monday, lower body Tuesday, rest Wednesday, upper back again Thursday, lower legs. And I think just from the outside looking in, just hearing that program through the grapevine and also just being brought up right now, that that sounds like you're getting everything you need, and you're also maybe have time for some accessories as well. But let's say you don't get that, that would be my only concern is that the you wouldn't be getting the accessories there
Okay.
as well.
Um, yeah, that's I think a really good point. I've done upper lower splits and I like them. The only problem is you only have 4 days in, so your workouts tend to extend a bit longer. I was actually doing this program recently before we started filming this podcast. And when it comes to time management, I always discuss with my wife before doing anything, just like she discusses with me, because we have other responsibilities. So we thought, you know what, life is hectic right now. Can I get in 4 days a week? Okay, sure. What I noticed after about 8 weeks, I needed a little more time in the gym each morning. So I had to actually add a day. But we could talk about what split I'm doing later,
Yeah.
if anything. But that's the only con I think is that not enough days in the gym if you're trying to get to a next level,
Yes.
or
So
else you'll have to do a 2 hour workout, and sometimes that's going to be too much.
yeah. So the con another thing as you go up the ladder, as you get more advanced, the nature of it, and this is why you see people that do that are either in the fitness industry or are super serious about the gym and are trying to reach that next level. There is a time um cost that comes with more advanced lifting. Um so that is one of the cons is that there is that time cost as you go climb up the ladder. And also for me, I feel like you're not going to be able to get as much benefit, especially if you're moving to the intermediate in terms of like the accessory movement, so core, shoulders, if you're really trying to round out a more classic physique.
Okay, real quick, full body.
Full
Why
body.
that's number one?
So big pro. A lot of the things as we noticed as we climbed up the ladder is time was a big crucial thing. This right here gives you everything that you need in terms of hitting every single muscle group. You're
Three
gonna
times a week.
3 times a week, with adequate amount of rest. So if you are someone who's busier, you have time in between the rest, um,
Forces you to do compound movements.
to get the most value for that time. And you can still get all of that in an hour workout.
And every time you do that hour workout, it's balanced.
Yes.
As long as you're not spending an hour on upper body. So was a key game changer for me to correct my imbalances. I started with my leg exercises and I did my two big compound movements before I did my upper. And I loved to do upper because it was easy and comfortable. So at the end of my workout or from the middle towards the end of my workout, I was spending time on the exercises I enjoyed.
So if you're um maybe a female and you're more comfortable with the lower body, or you're just someone who's training and you usually do that, split it. Always keep the body guessing if you want change and
Right.
new change and new adaptation. Start with the thing that you're least comfortable with if you're doing full body. So if that's
Or that
up
you want to grow more.
100%. So starting with the movements that are going to target those areas. So let's say I want to improve my back, I would maybe start with my rowing motions or a hinge
Or
motion
pull-ups.
or pull-ups, anything that's going to get that muscle targeted. And then maybe I'm more comfortable with my chest, right? I'll throw my legs and then maybe I'll do chest last.
Exactly.
So that is um a big fans of full body over
Yeah.
here. Just for and I think that's beginner, intermediate, advanced. If you're an advanced person and you haven't done that for a while, try going back to that sort of split. And then here's the thing: if you have a bigger time allotted in between, throw in those accessory shoulders, um, isolation arms. Maybe another leg day in there if you'd like. Play around with whatever balancing act feels best for you, um, and watch the gains come in.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Quick little stretch break,
Yeah.
and then we'll get into a short open discussion, and then the main topic. Okay, we're back after a quick stretch break because movement is medicine, right?
Yes.
The body requires movement,
Yes,
right?
it
We don't like
does.
to sit for too long. That's the only negative about these podcasts, right?
Elongated sitting,
Yeah.
elongated sitting. And if you are someone that is in that seated position for a long time, I feel it for you. Our engineer knows about that with his recent endeavors, and we were speaking about it and just like how tough it is to get it in. So if you can, that
Mhm.
extra little bit of movement can
Of
go
course.
a long way. But yes, into the open discussion. What do we got on the docket
Well, I
today?
wanted to ask you just how are things going with your transformation? Not really transformation, but your training.
Yes, so we will call it transformation because we did start it and we are coming to the end. And I do think we made some impressive inroads. Or just speaking personally, there's been a lot of like revelations, and I feel like it's a culmination of a whole year. You know what I mean? So we talk about delayed gratification. A lot of the things that I've been working on scaling back, I find myself now reaping the benefits of because I took that time so early in the year to focus in on technique that now my squats felt the best it's ever felt. And um all my movements just feel really great. So it's just a matter of just dialing in the nutrition. There's still some gaps there. I think I filled now in terms of understanding with nutrient timing and stuff like that. Just personally how my body responds with certain things. We're always going to be getting better with that, but I think I found what's going to carry me into the new year.
Just to provide some context, if you haven't been following us yet, Clifton is trying to, or he's on the road to growing more muscle. So that's what his goal has been over the past year. And for me, I wanted to go on a quick, I felt like I was getting a little heavy and I wanted to just lean out a little bit over the course of this month leading into the holiday season. So yeah, for me, I think the same thing. Things
Yeah.
were
What are
coming
you what are
together.
you what are you feeling? How are you feeling? Because everything's been super positive. Has there been any revelations that you've
Well, I think it was good to experience this because I haven't done this in a long time. The goal
this
is
being
this being cutting calories.
right?
Okay.
Because you've
So
been like all the techniques that I'm like figuring out right now. He's like, oh yeah, yeah, I did that before. Like he's already been on the road with like incorporating myo sets and nutrient timing and playing around with those sort of things. So whereas for me, I've been caught into just figuring out more rehab stuff in the beginning, dealing with knee pain earlier in the year, and then figuring out how to move again entirely. So um, yeah, just speak to the revelations that you found now going into the cutting.
so for me, it was more so just the discipline factor. When I've been spending the past year and a half uh, building up my metabolism, to a point where my maintenance is over 3,000. Cutting down my calories to below 2,500 is very difficult. Like I find myself, if there's pizza in the house, let's say my in-laws get pizza for my kids, they often buy me a slice.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at that bag and I'm like, oh, it's looking really good right now. I'll walk over to it and then I back off.
Yeah.
And because this is not something that
Swiping,
I
no
do,
swiping.
I
Yeah.
don't really like to restrict myself from things I enjoy.
Yeah.
And that's a big reason why I think building muscle is so important,
Yeah.
right?
So that something like a slice of pizza won't completely throw off
No.
your whole goals.
Yeah, it's just that discipline factor, right? I think that's the main draw for me.
Yeah.
So and what's good is I actually haven't done this in a while leading into the holiday season. And I
Which
feel
has some challenges of its
it
own.
has challenges, lots of challenges, and we're going to talk about this today.
Yes.
But the really nice positive is I'm looking forward to indulging a little bit now, and I think that I'll be ready for whatever goals I set for the new year. Don't know what it is yet. I have an idea, but we'll see.
We got that DEXA scan coming up. And even just from like personal conversations, that conversation comes up every year. How am I gonna get through the holiday season? I've been so disciplined, but my grandma's pecan pie every year that comes around, I can't not have that.
Is that what it is for you, the pecan pie?
No, definitely not. Maybe some rum cake or something.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Jamaican rum cake.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, one of my clients made one for me
Yeah?
last week. Yeah,
Pecan pie or rum cake?
no, a rum cake.
I got one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. South Indian style. It
Ooh,
was
okay.
I can show you. I brought it. I brought some today. Yeah.
Well, let's get into the main discussion. I
Yes,
think it's
sir.
important.
So what are we helping the people with today?
I wrote down this little thing, um, just a little paragraph. The average person gains weight or gains fat over time, year over year, during specific times, such as all-inclusive beach vacations, big celebratory events like weddings that are sometimes a whole week long. And the most common is during Thanksgiving and Christmas or religious holiday seasons.
I wonder why.
I wonder why. The number is usually like 5 to 10 pounds
Oh yeah.
each
Easy.
holiday season.
Easy.
And over the course of 10 years, while at the same time losing muscle mass,
Yeah.
that can add up to like 50 plus pounds,
100%.
right? So, metabolism slows down and it just means that you're continuously gaining.
Yeah.
So,
And
how
then
do we stop
priority.
this?
And then I think priorities really shift as well. Your
Of
priorities
course.
go from like, you know what, I'm not gonna be concerned about my health because I got my career and I got my, you know what I mean? It's like, no, you're gonna show up way better for those things if you can still find a way to have this be your set standard.
Of
But
course.
yes, so we got some tips today.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's important to let the viewers or the listeners in on some of these tips and tricks that they can potentially implement. Like
Yes.
very actionable items here.
We're all about action, bringing it back to Rambo days, the real action superstars. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sly. I'm forgetting his name right now, but yeah,
Sylvester
actionable.
Stallone.
Sylvester Stallone, the real heroes. Oh, let me think of a black one. Hold on. Who was Blade? Wesley Snipes. That's my guy. Yeah.
Um, Wesley Snipes, yeah. One of the latest ones we talked about him before, Michael B. Jordan,
Michael B.
right?
Jordan. They just don't. I guess I
Um,
got too much nostalgia for
okay,
the old guys.
what's his name?
Javan, call him
No,
Deb.
no, black
Definitely.
actor, martial artist,
Michael J. White.
Yes, he's the man.
Did we just have a
Okay.
moment?
Yes.
Dude,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god. Yes, he is. He's not even just action
He's
hero. Look how
legit.
look. I don't even know what's going on right now.
He's legit.
That is living proof of yeah.
And you
Anyways,
know how old is he? How old he is now, right?
that man's living. He's like 40s. I wouldn't be surprised if he's 50s.
He's close. I
He's
don't know. We got to
close.
check this. We got to look this up, Andre. How old is Michael J. White?
45. Let's guess. I'm saying I'm
56 years old,
I was
and
gonna
the
say
guy
45,
is cut
like out of
like a
marble.
Greek god.
Yeah,
You know,
he looks insane.
no steroids though
And
either.
then if you listen to how what he preaches, it's a lot of the same. Not to toot our own horn here, but you know what I mean. He
Well, I mean,
talks
we
about
learn
sustain
from these guys,
exactly.
right?
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
No, like what's the guy with the ponytail? No shots, but Steven.
Steven Seagal.
No,
Steven
Steven
Seagal.
Seagal.
Apparently,
Yeah.
he's pretty. He's
Let's
no
not do this,
Jean
guys.
Claude.
Let's not do this,
Okay.
guys.
Anyways, let's not talk about him.
Because
Okay.
we're not about to. Steven, hey, no offense, but yeah, man. Come on.
Okay. Well,
We're not putting you in the same conversation as Michael J. White.
let's give these actionable items.
Yes,
Okay?
yes. Get me
I
back
think
on
number
track.
one, you have to start habit changing leading in to the holiday season. So if you haven't started that yet, I mean, it's never too late,
Yes.
but I think being prepared prior to like December 1, start thinking about how like a few things you can change. Potentially stop drinking your soda.
Or shifting, so going from high fructose drinks to something a little bit lower. Getting used to looking at nutrition labels. And whenever I
Depends
tell,
on where you're at.
depends on where you're at,
Right.
but just shifting from 3 cans a day to one.
Yeah,
know,
just
some-
making those changes.
Just start small and work your way
Yeah.
backwards from
This
those
this
things.
will often give you some wiggle room, right? So that when it does come like a week before you have all these social gatherings, you've already started to make these changes. I think it just sets you up for
Gives you
success.
gives you a little bit more thicker because you're gonna deal with the come on, buddy. What are you doing here? You know what I mean? We're trying to have fun. You're bringing the mood down, talking about your vegetables and whatever. You know what I mean? It's like let's rope it in, and it's like if you've already developed a little bit of that, you know what the benefits are gonna come from making these choices, switching from soda to maybe diet. We know that that's not the best, but I'll take that over drinking the
course.
soda any day.
So the second one I got for you,
Hmm.
I don't know if you've ever done this, but this is a big one for me.
Yes.
You know those social gatherings that start to happen around December 15 onward?
Mhm. Like staff parties and
Anything like that.
okay.
Mark those down in your calendar, okay?
Mm.
Right off the bat. Then plan a workout, a nice strength muscle building
Ooh,
workout
love that.
the morning of and the day after.
Love that.
This is where the planning comes in, right?
Mhm.
Now, why is this so important?
I'm gonna guess. Okay. I would assume that working out before might add a little bit more kickstarting your how you're gonna burn fat for that day. Also giving you that same sort of endorphin release.
So you're talking about post exercise oxygen consumption.
I'm talking about yes. I'm talking about that epoch sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But the research on it says like it's not gonna give you the most. But I think more so the mental. Like if you miss that workout that day, you're like stacking habits, that's probably a lot more likely to stack to the point where
You'll spiral.
you'll spiral and be like, you know what, I already missed today. Maybe if you're the type to kick yourself while you're down a little bit, you might go into like, you know what, I am gonna have that. But
That's when you have to know your psychology.
exactly. So
Like
that's
the
why I
way
say even the workout afterwards, I might even like as much as I know from a beneficial standpoint, but let's say that person is drinking or whatever, unless that is their thing where their hard line is drinking, that's probably the only time I would say the workout the next day probably won't work. Because we don't really drink that much, right? So, getting up the next day after a staff party or after a holiday with the fam or whatever might not be as difficult for us. But for other people that want to let loose with that, the morning for sure. Um, and then um, you can go into that knowing that okay, I already did this today. This doesn't give me the license to blow the entire my calories out the water. But if you've already planned for that day to have X amount of calories in excess, I think you're golden.
I'm gonna add a little physiology to that.
Talk to
right?
me.
So our muscles are storage containers for glycogen, for carbohydrates, right? And then when we exercise, we draw on that muscle glycogen for energy. So it's like you're emptying that vat of sugar, and then when you eat, your body will just fill back up. So if you don't empty that and you go and pig out and you enjoy all the sweets and everything, all the starch, then where is that going to go? Right? It has to be
Mhm.
stored somewhere,
Right.
right? So emptying that storage container
To
will
allow
allow
for
you to enjoy the meal and actually let those meals fuel your body for muscle growth.
love that.
And then the next day you empty it again.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like you haven't even splurged,
Yeah.
right?
So I would say that post, maybe you're not planning. Like I just all for realistic planning. If the party starts at 7 p.m. and you're telling yourself you're gonna wake up 6 a.m. the next day, you're let's not set yourself
I'm
up for
not talking about the morning after. I said morning of and then the day after. So
no.
it could be that evening
That's
after
I think that would be much more
or afternoon.
realistic as long as you're saying within that time period, within 12 hours of that next day, you're getting in that workout. That's what I think would be more realistic, because in my experience, I've literally had clients come tell me and be like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna wake up 6 a.m. tomorrow." And I'm looking at them and I'm like, "I know who
That's
you
it's
are.
not gonna
You
happen.
don't even show up at 6 p.m. sometimes. You know what I mean? Let alone you're scraping that time. You're gonna tell me that you're gonna do something that you've never done before. Now, if this is all out the window when we've showcased that we have a certain training age and we have a certain level of discipline that's associated with that, where you've done that before. But talking specifically someone who has yet to formulate those habits, give yourself realistic. It comes back to episode 1, test and measure. What are realistic, measurable action or measurable items that we can implement? And I think giving yourself that 6 a.m. time period when you, at 6 p.m. when the party just started is not realistic. Give yourself that grace.
I know some of you are listening and you're like, "Oh yeah, but what if I'm traveling?" Well, find a gym nearby
Yeah.
or make sure you book a hotel that
Yeah.
has a gym. Or if you're staying with relatives that don't have exercise equipment, bands, resistant bands, body weight workouts.
And this is where the planning comes into play.
Exactly.
Plan to what is it? Six plan to fail, or no, fail to plan, or anyways. If you're
Fail to plan or plan to succeed.
no, it's like fail to plan or plan to fail. Yes, fail to plan or plan to fail. So if you're not planning at all, you're basically setting yourself up for an unsuccessful go about whatever you're trying to achieve. So when we talk about seeing when those staff parties come up, or let's say it's a spontaneous thing, look at the calendar. You know what I mean? And then that can kind of help you to dictate. So same thing. You're telling me you just woke up and just booked a flight. Okay, Bezos, you got it like that, cool. Then you better be able to afford a hotel that with the amenities that can get you to still on task, if that's what you're trying to do. We're only trying to speak to people that are trying to do that. So there's no excuses.
Real world people.
Real world people. So if it isn't, that means that you had that ticket bought for maybe months in advance or weeks. So there's no reason that you shouldn't have been able to plan it around
If you're serious about your gains.
if you're serious. If you're not, and you're claiming to be, there's a rude awakening, you aren't as serious as you think you are. And if you're someone who is constantly talking about how they don't achieve their goals, you got to take a serious look at yourself.
Yeah. Okay, I got another one.
Talk to me.
Go for a walk after every meal. 10 to 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be that long.
Yeah.
And go with the family.
Yeah.
That's a nice thing to do rather than sitting around shooting you know,
Yeah.
watching TV,
Yeah.
watching the game on TV, whatever. I think being a little more active. This leads me to my next one. Plan something physically active with your family. That's fun.
I love that. Love that. Get the family involved. Because let me tell you something. You're going to remember those moments more than you're not going to remember. Oh, remember that time? Well, I guess you will. But it's just something like I was gonna say, like, oh, remember that time Patrick Mahomes threw that catch and I was with dad and the kids. or dad and my cousins. It's like you can do that, or you can actually be in the backyard and be like, "Yo, dad, that catch was crazy," or "Yo, remember that time?" Because my
Or
cousin,
even play charades.
yeah,
Just get up and move around,
yeah,
right?
do something, and that whether or not that's outside or indoors, you're having bonding moments that can actually play out in real time. You know what I mean? That you can actually move around, and it doesn't have, and then you can have those calmer moments afterwards.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Pair desserts with protein.
yeah.
Okay, it sounds gross.
I was about to say. I
Okay.
don't know if that,
But let
that's
me
what I
give
was
you
like.
an
Yeah.
example. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
Okay, you want to have a piece of chocolate cake.
Right.
Okay. Have you ever had vanilla Greek yogurt with chocolate cake?
Brother, this might be a hard sell. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So if
This
you have
might be a
if you
hard
haven't had
sell.
it, it is delicious.
Okay.
It's delicious. Okay. Because like, okay, I'll give you an example.
You can tell this is
Vanilla
real.
okay.
I don't know. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you ever have vanilla ice cream with chocolate cake?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
no, actually, I've never. That just sounds like a more desirable. Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's pretty much the same thing, except you're getting 20 grams of protein.
Well, but I think the main difference is Greek yogurt don't taste like ice cream. That's that. I think that's. I think that's. But here's. Let me extend an olive branch. I like what you're doing. I like what you're doing
Do you know why though?
because physiologically, I see what you're doing. You're slowing down the digestion of the so that you can still get in protein. So that
You're blunting the blood sugar
yes,
elevation,
yes,
which ultimately is going to help with your goals.
yes. Which so you're not gonna crash. You're not. Um, that one I think is just a tougher sell for Gen Pop. But try that one out. I'm gonna try that. You know what?
Okay, so how about this? The order in which you eat your meal actually plays a huge role.
I think this one is.
Okay, so
I like
let me
this one more.
get okay.
Yeah.
Let's say you have a salad that's there, okay? Some people eat their salad before, some people eat their salad after, okay? You're getting your micronutrients, you're getting your fiber. Having your salad actually before with maybe a little vinaigrette, the
Mhm.
vinegar along with the vegetables, the leafy greens, that will actually blunt your sugar spike and also your insulin spike, which is huge. Then you eat your protein and your fat. And at the end, that's when you eat your starch and your carbs.
Much better. Because I would. I'm just keeping it real.
With the other one.
Yes, you did. Because I don't know anybody who's like, you know what, go watch with this chocolate cake. Yeah. But mom is not the Gen Pop. Mom is also someone who would have like
She's enlightened, man.
she's enlightened.
Yeah.
So we're talking to people that haven't seen the benefit and felt how good they can feel with all that. And I think
I'm gonna let you try that one day. You're gonna be like, wow, this is great.
no, I don't think. But I'm also like I was saying, we're also not to put. I was about to say we're enlightened. Oh God, I almost threw up. We're not, but we understand the benefit of these things, so we're much more inclined to try something.
Educated. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You could also sandwich your gathering where you know you're gonna overeat with 2 lower calorie days.
Yeah.
A lower calorie day before and a lower calorie day afterwards.
Yeah.
Right? Just simple.
Yeah.
Maybe cut out a meal or two on one day and then cut out a meal or two on the day after. At the end of the day, over 3 days, you're gonna average out to probably what you're normally gonna eat.
I was just about to say we can talk about this in another episode, but looking at your calories is not a daily intake, but a weekly
Yes.
is a great way to manipulate your food so that you stay on task in and around staff or holiday um parties. So even if you're having smaller meals, you know what I mean? So the portion size of the meal still balanced, still have an equal portion, or maybe you're manipulating more protein versus fats, so you still feel satiated with less carbs. But portion sizes, so you're still maybe eating 3 times out of the day, but just smaller amounts, or maybe you're increasing 6 times a day, but still keeping in
Right.
pretty limited calories. Those are ways where it's like you can still have that pig out day, quote unquote, on whatever day. That's to say it's a Saturday. Have that pig out day Saturday, and then Sunday we're back on, right?
So there's two other ones.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at 10, number 10. Okay. Don't abuse the alcohol, but enjoy a couple if you like, but there is no way of getting
I
around
was just about to say,
u- using alcohol
yeah,
to that extent.
yeah.
So
I
if
think
you're
you kind
getting
of,
hungover, your day is shot the day after, not to mention the negative implications to your health, right? I don't think we have to talk more about that.
yeah. I think people already understand that.
You could, hey, here's one hack.
The
If you like
water.
mixed drinks, use a diet beverage versus something that has a lot of sugar, right? That's an option. Or um, like a vodka. Sometimes a vodka with like a vodka soda, right?
Vodka soda there, but you sounded so Canadian there, dude. Yeah, yeah. After we go to Timmy's and get a vodka soda. Sorry.
Okay, last one.
Yeah.
Last one.
But
What do
agreed,
you think it
agreed.
is?
But just quickly, the to the liquor, I think it's take what Adam's saying with the diet mix approach, or if you're gonna create that hard line where you're gonna say it's just the food and the sugars that I'm gonna go over with, and not the alcohol. I know people that can make that distinction. Or if you're someone that really just enjoys the occasional, and you're gonna do it within reason. You
Stay
should know your
hydrated.
as an adult. You should know what your limits are. So staying within that, and then um, getting back as quickly as you can back to that routine. So if you're going back to the previous point that we have that point midday next day, even if it's later on, you're getting some form of movement. Do your thing,
Of
dude or
course.
gal.
Last one.
Last one. You want me to get
Make sure you get adequate sleep.
sleep? I should.
Don't
Yeah,
sleep on sleep.
I knew it was gonna be either water or sleep.
Lead leading into the holiday season or leading into the main 3 days, the festivities, I think trying to catch up on your sleep beforehand, build the momentum going in because you probably aren't going to get the best sleep.
That day.
If you can get good sleep each night, and even though you're overindulging and you're not exercising as much as you'd like to, you will maintain.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So I think that was I hope those are actionable items for you guys.
Yeah, we went over a bunch. We can um you can pause it at any point and write that down. Feel free. That's how we make these episodes is we try to make them as cut as dry so that you can actually have something to take home after each episode. So that has been us for the BRS podcast. Happy holidays, and we'll be talking to you well into the new year.
Yeah, thank you for traveling with us beyond reps and
Sets.
sets.
Peace.